So I wanted to do a quick update with the 30-day art challenge. I am keeping up with it. I'm still being flexible in that I'm not always stitching every day, but I have made the process in such a way that I can complete an image in about 5 to 10 minutes, and that's from drawing to complete stitching. And with the flexibility and the time that I figured out, that it takes me to stitch, I am able to keep going. I think because this is not like a rigid challenge with a set different prompt each day, there's not a lot of mental weight for me. It's just more of a matter of finding inspiration and then using it and moving forward. So right now, the keys for me and being successful with the challenge so far are, again, the flexibility. And I have a set prompt, which are these figures that I'm going to freehand stitch using the open foot on my embroidery machine. So there is a set prompt, but there is such a amount of wiggle room in it that I can just stitch and keep going with ease and not be too fussed if I miss a day. So hopefully I didn't ramble too much there. Anyway, let's look at the drawings that I completed. So this one, size-wise, is closer to most of the drawings that I had been doing. And you can see that it's larger. It's easier to stitch a little bit larger because I can get the speed going. I'm still not exactly perfect in some of the details. Some of it's a little bit wonky, but I do like wonky and I like to embrace that. You can see the fingers are a little bit off in sizing here as this person is peeking around the wall. But as I have progressed through the challenge, I am slowly reducing the size of some of the images. And at the beginning of the challenge, I had said I would probably do creatures too. I'm still not sure. I may branch out into some creatures or some flowers, but for now, I'm really focusing on the figures. And again, they're still not perfect. I'm making mistakes. You can kind of see the nose right here where it's a little bit weird. Now, again, when I come back in and I add paint and other embroidery and stitching, I can hide some of that odd stitching a bit, so it's not wasted. I did switch the type of felt. So you'll see this is kind of a very flexible sheet of felt. It's typically what you find in a fabric store. And I've been trying to find an economical way to buy a larger amount of felt. I really wanted like a bolt of felt, like you get a bolt of fabric. And I haven't found that anywhere. I bought this and I saw it was felt in a roll and I wasn't paying attention to the dimensions. But this is what I ended up with. It's really thick in comparison. I don't know if you can see that here. You can see that it's a lot stiffer than this. It's not as flexible. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. Some of the time I like it, some of the time I don't. It almost feels more like a foam, but it is a felt fabric. And I used some of the scraps of the material that I had to make these smaller figures on it. It's a little bit different when you're stitching on it with the sewing machine too. Between the different weights of the felt, there is a feeling of a difference in the tension on the sewing machine when I'm moving the fabric around. And I didn't really have trouble sewing, but I did at times, when I was not used to the tension, put more pressure on the needle, and I did bend one needle. So it's just something to note, is that the layers of fabric and the thickness may affect how it feels, and it's really hard to describe. It's something you kind of have to experience when you're using the freehand motion embroidery foot. As you're moving the fabric around, you'll feel a difference in the tension as you're pulling and pushing the fabric along with the machine. Because with the freehand embroidery, you're the one moving it. The feed dogs have been dropped, so the fabric isn't moving through the machine. You're actually moving it. And I just had to adjust that feel of tension. But I am now, you can see, making smaller figures. I especially love her. I felt like she was really expressive. And I'm still experiencing, or I guess I should say, creating the same style that I've been creating, but I have been able to keep the detail and make the figure smaller, and I'm having less errors. And again, if you're trying this and you make an error like I did with the nose here, you're going to have some creative license when you come back in and you're stitching back over it with embroidery floss to correct some of this. You can correct a little bit of it with paint. It's not a big deal. And all of these are just great practice for me. And you can see that I'm just moving along and becoming more fluid. And I'm really loving the way these characters are turning out. So I'll do another update with these in probably about a week again after I have a group of them together so that it's just a quick video. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.